Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Let's Play Warframe. I'm your host of the most, as always, Francois878, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Ash rework that was introduced in update 19.1, and and my feelings and opinions on it, and what I think DE could have done to maybe make this rework a little bit better. Because right now I really feel like they missed the mark on Bladestorm in a big way. I feel like the reason that people, the community at large, wanted a Bladestorm changed is still in the game, and they kind of made Bladestorm even more tedious. Now, we're going to get to that in a minute. We're going to go through each of Ash's abilities from 1 to 4 and talk about what changes were made with them and how they did or did not improve his kit and his playability. The first ability for Ash is, of course, Shuriken. This just launches 2 Shurikens from Ash in a straight line. They gently seek enemies in your reticle, and they inflict damage and a bleed proc. This ability did not receive any changes at all. This is something I kind of agree and disagree with. The augment for Shuriken is an armor stripping augment, so it didn't necessarily need any changes. You know, I don't think a frame's first ability should really be that spectacular anyways, and they're usually not. So I'm partially okay with Shuriken not really getting a buff necessarily, but maybe a little bit of synergy would be for you to be able to teleport to a Shuriken. Let's say you blast a couple of Shurikens across the room, and that would allow you to, you know, have a beacon over there to teleport to. That would promote synergy in his kit and allow you to get out of a hairy situation. The buffs to teleport that we saw definitely help with that, but this synergy with Shuriken would allow you to be able to have a little bit more. It would allow you to customize where you're going to be teleporting to a little more, and just promote synergy with the kit in general. Now, Smokescreen, the only changes Smokescreen really saw were now Smokescreen can be cast while running. You don't have to stop and actually do the Smokescreen animation and then continue running, and Smokescreen can also now be cast in midair. These aren't necessarily a direct buff to Smokescreen. These are more quality of life changes that make Smokescreen significantly more viable, and definitely puts Smokescreen on a similar level to Loki's invisibility. Personally, I will always take Loki over Ash as far as stealth missions go if I'm going for invisibility. However, the Smokescreen changes are definitely a welcome change, and I'm really looking forward to really testing those out in a stealth environment. Now, Ash's third ability, Teleport. The change that it received, Teleport will now allow you to target anything with a health bar, instead of basically being limited to teleporting to allies or enemies. You can also now teleport to objects. This is, it's alright. Like I kind of touched on with the Shuriken suggestion that I made, this now allows you to teleport to the other side of the room or away from a bad situation if you find yourself, almost dead and you need to boogie out. This could definitely help save you. However, honestly, being able to switch your focus from the enemies to whatever object in the distance that you're going to try and teleport to, in that time you're probably going to die if you're really in a bad spot. It's an interesting change. I just don't think it's as exciting as people say it is. I think that's, I don't know, it's a welcome change. It's not a nerf. It could be worse. Now, the big change that everyone is complaining about, or, you know, saying is a great, you know, the community so far from what I've seen is very mixed on the Bladestorm changes. Me, personally, I don't like the Bladestorm changes because they took a press 4 to win ability that was boring to use because you had to watch canned animations over and over and over again, and they made it tedious to where you have to mark targets and then watch canned animations. So it not only now is it boring, but it's tedious and boring. It's Bladestorm is the worst. It's not the worst. But the problem that I think the majority of the community had with Bladestorm, the canned animations and taking you out of the action to use it, has not been fixed. And maybe the duration has been slightly reduced, but it's gotten worse, if anything. The way Bladestorm now works is when you hit 4 the first time, you enter Mark Enemy mode, which basically you run around, and whenever you roll your reticle over an enemy, they will receive a mark. And let's say you target 3 enemies one time, you hit 4 again, it will go into the Bladestorm animation, and you will kill all 3 of those enemies. If you move your reticle over an enemy again, it will receive a second mark, and you will be able to hit them twice, or you or one of your clones. Third mark, same thing. Your clones will just do more of the work. Now, each of the marks costs you individual energy instead of last time where it was just a flat rate and you attacked everything in the radius of your ability. I will say it's a lot more interactive, but it's kind of, from a efficiency standpoint, it's a lot more tedious. You used to be able to just hit 4 on the closest enemy and everything in the area in your radius was dead. And now you have to go and specifically target everything you want to kill. It is more interactive, but I can definitely see how some people would think that's tedious and inefficient, especially when you're stuck having to watch the same canned animations afterwards. If they made it so it would just be your clones attacking the enemies that you mark, maybe even, you know, they would attack them as you mark them. I don't know. The point of the story is, I understand that Bladestorm needed a change. I'm definitely not pro keeping the old Bladestorm. But this rework of having to mark individual enemies and then seeing the same boring animations, this missed the mark. This is still a boring ability to use, and I'm definitely gonna focus my Ash builds from this point forward around Smokescreen and Teleport, because that seems to be a much more interactive, much more fun way to build Ash for combat and that sort of thing. So thank you guys very much for coming. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of the Ash rework. Tell me if you think I'm crazy or not. Until next time, I've been your host of the most, as always, Francois878, signing off.